Okay, so now we're up to what's called combinations. So here's like a definition, difference between a permutation and a combination, and got some key words going on here. So a permutation is an ordered arrangement of objects, and a combination is a selection where order is not important. So see, again, we've got the word ordered and order not important. All right, so if you think about permutations as arrangements, order is important. Combinations are selection, and the order is not important. So the example that I'm starting off here with is is numbers 1, 2, and 3. How many ways can 2 be selected? All right, so how many ways can you select 2 numbers out of that? So if I use a tree diagram like I have before, so in your first time you select, you could select either the number 1, the number 2, or the number 3. The next time you select, and we're not repeating again, so the next time that we select, we could select the number 2 or 3. And here we could select the number 1 or 3. And here we can select the number 1 or 2. So we can select the second time depends on what we've already selected. So this combination here is 1, 2, 1 then 3, 2 then 1, 2 then 3, 3 then 1, and 3 then 2. All right, so you can see from that there's six arrangements that we can have of those. All right, 6 arrangements, 3p2. However, in terms of selecting numbers, right, here's the word selected. All right, so these are arrangements, how the numbers are arranged, arranging 2 from that 3. That's how they're arranged, but if we're selecting numbers, in terms of selection of numbers, what's the difference when selecting a 1 and then a 2, or a 2 and then a 1? That selection's the same. It's the number 1 and it's the number 2. And similar when you've got a 3 with a 1 or a 1 with a 3. Again, they're the same. Or you could go a 2 and a 3, or a 3 and a 2. So in terms of arrangements, their arrangements are different, but the selection of numbers, it's the same 2 numbers that are selected in each of those. All right, so in terms of selections here, there's not 6 selections, there's 3 selections. So there's 6 arrangements, but 3 selections. So thus there's 3 ways. We can select 2 numbers. All right, so which is, if we think about 3p2 permutation, but then if we divide by the number of ways each of those, by 2 factorial, because we can arrange them in each of those pair in 2 factorial 2 ways. Now, if we have a look at that, that's 3 factorial over the 2 factorial, which is there, but NP, remember NPR, is n factorial over n minus r factorial. All right, so 3 factorial over n minus r, and that's 3 minus 2 factorial. Now, of course, this here, this 2 factorial is just my r, again, my r that's already there. So if 3 equals n and 2 equals r, we get n factorial over n minus r factorial times r factorial. And that's called a combination, a selection, the combinations of numbers. And we call NCR is what we're using, C for combinations. All right, so order is not important. So a 2 and a 1 is the same as a 1 and a 2. The number 1 and the number 2 have been selected from that group. All right, so it can be something like this, for example, pizza. So a pizza, you've got 3 toppings on a pizza that you can choose, and there's 9 options. How many different pizzas? All right, so if they're different pizzas, they need to have different stuff on it. So if you've got ham, cheese, and mushrooms, what's on your pizza? Does it matter whether it's cheese, ham, and mushrooms? Mushrooms, ham, and cheese. All right, so all of those, they've still got those same 3 things. So in terms of the toppings, the pizza, they're not different ones. They're the same ones. So in that case, it's a combination NCR, and N is 9 because there's 9 toppings to choose from, and we're selecting 3 of those 9 on our pizza. So we're choosing 3 from the 9. So again, choose. So a word, it's another word we can look at here for our combinations, selections, choosing, selecting, choosing. So we're choosing 3 from 9. All right, so NCR is n factorial over n minus r factorial, Ooh, that's not a factorial sign. Factorial. So 9 minus 3 factorial, 3 factorial, and then let's say 9 factorial over 6 factorial times 3 factorial. And that there is a calculator job, which is 84. Now, also remembering on your calculator, on the keyboard, and I pointed this out in one of the earlier lessons, and I'll go again. So on our keyboard, so remember our keyboard, often this comes up, go down to the next page, advanced. So now we've got NCR, and so this one was 9. We had 9 things and we were choosing 3. There we go, 84. Okay, so here we go. From a group of 10 students, in how many ways can we select a group of 3? So, if we're selecting 3 from 10, that's 10C3. And go to our calculator. 10 and 3, 120. So there are 120 ways there. 7 students, well that's 10C7. So if I go to the calculator, 10C7, I can just go in here and change that to a 7. 120. Now, you'll notice from that, though, that 7 is 10 minus 3. And 3, of course, is 10 minus 7. So, these two are actually linked together. In that, to get the other one, you take away this one. Alright, so that leads us to a pattern that occurs with our combinations, and that's this one, this pattern here. That NCR is the same as NC n minus R. So in this case, R is 3, so 10C3 is the same as 10C7, because 10 minus 3 is 7. All right, and sometimes that's handy. All right, alternative notation, I haven't been through that yet. So NCR sometimes written like this here, N above R. All right, and little curvy brackets around there. That's another way of writing it. So you just need to be aware of that as a way of writing it. All right, and I'll just point out to you before we get on to some practice questions. Permutations are arrangements and the order is important. Combinations are selections and the order is not important. All right, so permutations and combinations, sometimes you hear them referred to as arrangements and selections. All right, so they're the key things when you're looking at mixed questions as to what you need to do. Is the order important or is it not? If it's important, it's a permutation. If it's not, it's a selection. And maybe the arrangement. So if you've got things arranged in a row, 2, 3, 1 is different to 1, 2, 3 in the arrangement. But if you've selected those 3 digits from a group of 10, it's still the same 3 digits that you've selected. All right. So hopefully that last bit hasn't confused you. Of course, if it has, get some help. And as always, have fun.